Hey guys, what is up? I don't know why I just did that. Okay, let me try again. Hey guys, what is up? How are you doing? I hope you're doing amazingly, beautifully, wonderfully. So, the lighting might change a bit because I have my window open and the sun is shining through my curtains because it is such a nice day out. And you can see I've changed locations again because I did not want to film at my desk today. I got really lazy. So, on this week on RDK, we're doing Dumb Week. And for Dumb Week, I decided I wanted to tell some stories. Dumb stories of my friends, of me, and yeah, my family. So, we should begin. Alright, so the first dumb story I want to tell is about me. Now, this is probably the funniest story out of all of them. I was with my friend Megan and her friend Taylor, and we were down in my kitchen, and we were just hanging out there, and I was like, I want some tea. So I go to pull out the tea jug, and as I'm pulling it out, this thing starts falling, so I grab that, let go of the tea jug, and the tea jug just swoosh, spills all over the floor, and there's tea everywhere. My dogs are getting in it, my cats are getting in it, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm panicking, and Megan and Taylor just burst out laughing. They can't stop laughing. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to clean it up and getting floor things, and I'm freaking out. And my brother comes up and he looks at the ground, he looks at me, and I go, I spilt tea, and he goes, you're an idiot, and walks back downstairs. Not one of my best moments, but it makes for a great story. Okay, so it kind of starts out really serious, but then it just turns into laughter. So me and my 5 friends, I'm not using real names. So it was Yasmin. I never can pronounce her name. Yasmin, Sarah, Kylie, and Elisa. So we all went to the park because it was her birthday sleepover thing. So we all go to the park, and there's this tunnel there, and my friend's goofing around. She's running around being all silly, and she's like, gummy bears and whatever, and she's goofing up. So then they go into this tunnel, and me and Yasmin were like, no, I'm not going in there. There are spiders. No way. I do not do spiders. So they go in there, and they're goofing off and messing around, and me and Yasmin go to sit on the bench at the park, and these kids walk by. They're 2 grades younger than us. Walk by there, pick something up, walk off towards us, and go, you think you're funny? This isn't funny, and throws the piece of paper on the ground, and we're looking at each other like, what just happened? And he was like, it's not cool, it's not funny, you're not kidding anybody. And he's being all serious, and we're looking at each other like, what did we do? We didn't even do anything. So we look at whatever it was, and it was a piece of rolled up paper. So we're like, oh crap, we're getting accused of doing drugs. So we sit there, and this kid's yelling at us, and he's younger than us, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm done. So I'm like, okay, go get your dad, whatever. And he's threatening to go get his dad, and I was like, okay, go get your dad, bring him back, call the cops, whatever you want to do. I'm clean. Go for it. So he leaves, and he's going to get his dad and some dude, and we go to get the girls, because we're like, dude, we're in a serious mess. We need to figure this out. So we go to the girls, and Jillian goes in to get them, and I'm standing outside waiting for them. Goes in the tunnel to get them, and she comes out, and I'm like, guys, we need to come out here. We're getting yelled at, blah, blah, blah. We're getting accused. And yeah, so there's this military man that these dad brought, and the kid. And the kid's sitting there, and he's like, I'm better than you. I caught you. Go me. I'm better. And he's sitting there like that with his arms folded. I kid you not. His arms were folded. And he's giving me this sassy look. Ugh. So the dad's like yelling at us. He's like, well, my son's telling me and blah, blah, blah. And he's talking to us about drugs. And I'm like, we weren't doing anything. We were messing around. We came to the park. That's not ours. Go ahead and whatever. Call the cops. Test us. Whatever you need to do. And he was like, I'm not going to test you. I'm just warning you girls right now that the bad things happen down there. And they need to close that off and whatever. And I'm like, okay. So they leave and whatever. So we're staying at the park. We're just chilling. And we're starting to head home because it was getting really dark. So we started to head home, and this little kid, another little kid, comes out of there, and he's like, bring it, we're gonna dance off. So we're sitting there, we're dancing, and we're just having this big dance off in the middle of a street because this kid is like threatening us. We're like, okay. So we break out some moves, and then we're like, okay, we gotta go home now. So we start walking home, and the kids are following us and telling us we're afraid. And they keep following us, and then we find out that there's some older kids telling them to. Long story short, that was probably one of the greatest nights ever. It's a funny story to tell. So story number 3 is gonna be about my family. My family. Okay, so what we were doing is my sister was getting married. This is my sister, and this is me. So she's getting. I'm just gonna stick that on my wall. There. So she's getting married, and we're supposed to be driving up to her wedding. So we start driving, and I'm with my real dad and his girlfriend, and we're there, and we're like late because we stopped and ate because we hadn't eaten lunch yet. So we sit there and we're goofing, and we were late. So we're sitting in the car and we're driving to drive to the wedding. It wasn't like we're driving to the hotel to get to the, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, okay, so we went like 3 days before the wedding, so it's okay that we were late. And we were late to the rehearsal dinner. And she is freaking out on my dad. And my dad is like, okay, we're going to be late anyway. Let me stop and get a t-shirt. So we pull over to this Harley Davidson shop. And he gets out. And he starts walking into the store. And I look at his girlfriend and go, what is wrong with him? And he's like, she looks at me and she just smiles and laughs. So I have no clue. So we walk in there and we're done getting the t-shirt shop. My sister calls my dad and I'm like, Dad, you can't answer that phone because you're driving. So I pick up the phone, I'm like, hello? And I'm talking to my sister and she's like ballistic. And she's like about in tears and screaming like, I don't know what to do. Dad's not here yet and I'm freaking out. And would you put him on the phone? And I was like, I can't put him on the phone. He's driving. And we're going to just be slower. And she's like, well, now you've hit the parade and blah, blah, blah. And she was freaking out. And I was like, okay. So we drive as fast as we can and we get there. And then my dad finds out that her stepdad and my dad were going to walk her down the aisle together. And that's not a big problem. Like, honestly. He still got the last daughter-father dance with her. And he's like freaking out about it. And I'm like already dressed up and like it's a professional nice dress with my hair was in a bun because I couldn't figure out what to do with it. And I looked like a businesswoman. And I go in there, and I was talking to my sister before, and I'm like, it's okay, calm down, I'll handle it. I'll make sure he will be walking down that aisle with you, whether he likes it or not. And she was like, okay, and she stops, like, crying and freaking out, and I'm like, okay. So I go down there, and my dad's like, I'm not going down, and he's talking to my brother, and he's like, I'm not going down there, no way, nope, I won't do it, this is stupid, and blah. And I'm like, Dad? I looked at him, I was like, you will walk her down the aisle whether you like it or not. And I'm like freaking out about it. And he just looks at me and he starts laughing. He starts laughing and my brother's laughing and my girlfriend's laughing. He's like, they just kept laughing at me. And then we went to we found out that, yeah, the wedding turned out good. So these are kind of funny stories, but they were really dumb. Like, he stopped and that was dumb. Those are my 3 stories that I have for you guys today. It took me a long time to figure out what I was going to do, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later. Bye!